Welcome. I'm going to talk a little bit about ADHD and how in the society right now it's very popular for people to kind of undermine it and say that it doesn't really exist. These people just need to try harder. There's other popular beliefs around it too that are incorrect, but that's one of the popular beliefs I want to address in this quick video. Also, later on, I'm going to get into some tips, helpful tips that you can apply that will help with ADHD. And before we get started, please like and subscribe. That'll help this channel and that'll help me put up more great content. Thank you. So, ADHD. One of those things is it's popular in this day and age for people to be like, oh, all you need to do is go on this one diet and it'll fix your ADHD and it'll go away. And it doesn't really exist anyway. You're just not eating the best diet. You're not eating our diet. Or people like to blame the school system and say, oh, the school system, they force kids at a young age to sit at these little tables and do really boring stuff in a boring room, and it makes them hyper, and the school system creates ADHD. And or another popular thing is that people say, oh, it's abusive parenting or improper parenting. And all of these are they're not true. They're kind of just scapegoats. People are putting off putting the problem onto something else. And the worst is when a lot of people are saying that ADHD just doesn't exist at all. It's not really a thing. Everyone has a little bit of ADHD. That right there is, it's bad. It's bad for the people that struggle with severe ADHD, severe adult ADHD, or childhood ADHD. And it makes sense that a lot of people, that it's popular to say that it doesn't exist, because the thing with ADHD is it's very easy to look at someone that has severe ADHD and just be like, oh, they don't look that different. They just look totally fine and normal. They're not crazy. They're not autistic. They're not on a severe spectrum of autism where you can clearly see someone that has that. Same with schizophrenia. Generally, you can see something's clearly wrong. But with ADHD, they look totally normal. They're actually really nice and, cool, interesting people. But the thing is with ADHD is people generally with severe ADHD or just large amounts of ADHD, because it's on a spectrum, right? You can have mild, or you can have severe, or somewhere in the middle. And the part where it becomes a problem is when things that everyone experiences, distractibility, being emotional, or forgetting things, losing things, being unorganized. Everyone has experienced those things. The difference is that they're 10, 20 times more extreme in someone that has a more severe type of ADHD. But the thing is, these people wear masks. They call it masking. So because they screw up a lot of things when they're younger in school, they're told constantly by their parents and by the school system that they're stupid, they're bad, they're terrible, they should be ashamed of being lazy, and they're really, really people put a lot of shame on them. So what happens is these people grow up and they mask. And how do they mask? They pretend to be really normal. And when they're struggling with many, many, many things in life, they just don't complain about it and they don't talk about it. They just wear a mask and they smile and they act nice, and they even act nicer than most people because they're trying to fit in. So that's masking. And yeah, I can see why people would go and look at them and be like, oh, there's nothing wrong with them. They just need to try harder. Because in part, the people kind of hide the condition because it's so debilitating. In some cases, it can be very, very hard on people, very hard on people. So that makes sense why people would say it just doesn't exist. They're just hyper. They're just a little bit different. And we're all different. Everyone's different, you know? It's just a different personality type. It's not a personality type. Like it's not. It might make your personality a little worse or way better. For example, Hollywood actors and models and people in showbiz tend to have a lot of ADHD because they put on there's a lot of reasons, but again it's like a masking thing, right, where it's like they try to be really really interesting and fun to kind of sway things in their direction, you know. And it's also very stimulating. People with ADHD, they crave, their dopamine doesn't necessarily work properly. It's like a dopamine deficiency of dopamine. So they crave things that are high intensity. So like acting would be one of those things because it's like you get applause, like Broadway acting, you get applause. Musicians also usually have a lot of ADHD or a lot of trauma. And of course, trauma and ADHD usually go hand in hand too, because the trauma makes the ADHD worse. It's like the symptoms of extreme trauma and ADHD, they overlap. You know, they're some of them are the same symptoms, and they often come together. Also, similar with depression too, where depression often goes along with ADHD or anxiety disorders. Those often go along. They're comorbid, which means they go along with it together. Kind of one creates the other, one creates the other one, or they create more of the other. It's complicated, right? Yeah, so it does exist. And the problem is with people say it doesn't exist, and these ADHD people, they just need to clean their room, and they just need to sit down, and they just need to be quiet, and they just need to have a coffee and concentrate and do what they need to do their homework and clean their apartment, and they just need to try harder, you know? And the funny thing is, with that statement, just need to try harder, it's actually hilarious, kind of, because in the mind, in the frontal lobe of someone that has real ADHD, when they try really hard, the brain will actually shut down. So when they try to force it, they try to force themselves to concentrate, the brain will actually shut down. And I know Gabor Mate, his theory is that it's from ADHD is caused from trauma or abuse or just bad parenting, and that's been totally disproven. It's not from that. And there's so many theories of what it comes from, and I have my own perspectives on that. I don't want to get too into it because it could be too controversial. But anyway, it's here, it exists, and in some cases it's severe. And these people often don't get the help they need because they hide it. They hide their condition, or they tell themselves that they don't have the condition, or they're so used to it that they don't know they have it, right? Because they've had it their whole lives. So they just think that they're dumb or they're lazy or something, right? Okay, so what else were we going to talk about? It's on a spectrum. Yeah, so when you're young, it can be a mild case of ADHD, and you know, with extremely healthy diet and a healthy family system and even really good schools, you can grow out of it. You kind of just grow out of it. But if you grow up, and it's a developmental disorder, that's what they say, right? If you grow up and you become an adult and it hasn't gone away, it's still severe, still strong. Once the brain is set, once you're in your mid-20s or whatever, and the brain is more or less kind of solidified, you have a little bit of wiggle room if you try to kind of heal it and alter it at a very young age. You got a little bit of wiggle room. But if you have severe ADHD at 24, the age of 24, it's not going anywhere. It's there for life. It's completely solidified in your mind, and it is there for life. You can try a million things. It's not going anywhere. It's permanent, to more or less of a degree. There's still lots of things you can do to work with it, and kind of alter it a little bit, heal up a little bit. Like you say, if you heal your trauma, then your ADHD will get a little bit better. Or if you eat really, really healthy, take supplements, less screens, and there's lots of things you can do. Get exercise, get outside, get some sunlight. So many things you can do that will make it better, but it won't necessarily just disappear. Also, really in-depth meditations can help a lot too, and hypnosis can help too. There's so many things, right? Okay, so autism. Autism is on a spectrum too, right? So you can have really mild autism that the individual probably won't notice, and other people probably won't even notice, but they'll be like, he's kind of weird. There's something weird about him. What's that one guy's name? He's the father of biohacking, Dave Asprey. He mentions I think he mentions he has ADHD and autism in one of his books, and it was more severe when he was younger. Did he say autism or did he say Down syndrome? Anyway, I think autism, and you can have both too, which would suck. I think it would be hard, very hard. So if you notice Dave Asprey, by the way, that guy's absolutely a genius, and I've learned so much about health from him, biohacking, health from him. Oh, he's amazing. His books are kind of not the best. They're kind of like big sales pitches for his super healthy coffee and such. But anyway, this guy is amazing. I think he's amazing. I learned so much about creatine from him. Creatine to help the mind function better, and many other things. He's a good guy. He's really great. But if you watch him, you'll notice that he's got these kind of weird character tics. The way he talks is a little bit strange. He's got a weird, he moves a little bit weird, and he talks a little bit strange. Like, he's not just a big geek. It's to another level, and that's autism, right? So you can see it, but that's mild autism, right? Or maybe somewhere in the middle or mild. Whereas if you've ever known or hung out with someone with more severe autism, they're clearly like disabled. Can be a massive disability, clearly. So he would be on the very light end of autism. That's actually really interesting because there's so many things he's done in his life, and I bet you autism might have even helped him do a bunch of the stuff, because with autism and ADHD have a lot of similar symptoms. They kind of overlap in a lot of ways. But like, for instance, with ADHD, you can hyperfocus. So for a week or whatever, you can focus really well on something and just keep going till it's done, till you work on it, fix it, figure it out. But you can't control it. It happens when it happens. It's random, the hyperfocusing. And then with autism, everything is like a hyperfocus. You can hyperfocus on really boring things for long periods of time. And then with ADHD, you can't control it, but it happens sometimes where you can hyperfocus. And then the rest of the time you can't focus. It's, some people say it's brain damage. I think it's here or here. One of the sides of the brain, it's actually brain damage. And from there's many theories of what causes it. Many. And I think I might know, but who's to say, right? In this day and age. But yeah, anyway, it's the same part of the brain. It's a focus part of the brain, right? And executive function and the focusing part of the brain. One thing I heard about ADHD that's interesting is that building strong habits is one way to kind of hack the ADHD. The only problem is it's very hard to build a strong habit. But if you can build healthy habits, once a habit is more solidified in the brain, like say after a few months or a few years, then that habit will stay. It'll to more or less of a degree, it'll stay, and it'll help support the person. It'll be like more structure for someone with ADHD, and structure is a huge issue with ADHD. These people need more structure. So it's one way of kind of biohacking it. If you can figure out a way to create habits and really, really stick to the habits, that's the hard part though. Creating a healthy habit, if you have ADHD, will be 10 times harder than it would be for a normal person. But if you have actually created the healthy habit, then it will help. It'll be a huge help for you. Okay, so we're almost at the tips part. Yeah, let's do some tips. What can you do I've already kind of briefly mentioned several things that you can do, but let's go into a few tips really quickly. One, sugar and high carb food. Some sugar, some carbohydrates is healthy for everyone, right? Generally speaking. But the problem with sugar and high carbs, with ADHD, these people tend to have they're very addictive personalities, anything and everything, and because they're low in certain brain neurotransmitters. So when you are looking outside yourself, reaching outside of yourself for stimuli instead of creating your own, that it's like it's a deficiency. So you need external support, and that's one of the reasons why these people have issues definitely with addiction, because they can't force themselves to create their own dopamine and focus and brain stimulants. They need like external support. So they crave dopamine way more, like 5 times more than the average person. And the average person already craves dopamine a ton, right? But times that by 5. That's why quitting smoking they say it's like 10 times harder if you have ADHD. And it's already very hard to quit smoking, right? It's like one of the hardest things in the world. But if you have ADHD, it's double, triple as hard, because that nicotine is going in and it's creating dopamine on a regular basis. And it's like sort of fixing, I hate saying the word imbalance, but a lack of dopamine. It's filling that hole, that void, right? So the problem with sugar and high carbs is sugar and high carbs gives you serotonin, and that offsets your already massive lack of dopamine. It offsets it. So you have more serotonin and you already have low dopamine. So it's sort of you're feeling the void of low dopamine with serotonin, which doesn't fix the problem because you still have low dopamine, but you feel good because you have more serotonin. It's like a Band-Aid, right? You're like, I feel better. The brain feels better, but you still aren't focusing because you're still low in dopamine. So addictive personality traits, eating sugar, eating chocolate, things like that. You're feeling the void of brain transmitters, neurotransmitters, but not with the right ones. You need more dopamine, not more serotonin. Generally, some people actually do really good with more serotonin, but I'm generalizing. So eating tons of chocolate isn't going to fix ADHD. You're not going to be more productive necessarily, right? So eat less sugar and less carbs. It will help you. Your brain will be more balanced. You'll be more focused, right? So that's one tip. Let's go to another tip. Exercise. Exercise, of course, healthy diet and fresh air and sunlight. They're good for everyone. Everyone needs them, right? But specifically exercise, and everyone needs exercise too to be healthy, but specifically exercise for ADHD. It's just one of those things that is like, you gotta move. You gotta move the body. You move the body, and those brain transmitters, they work better. They just do. And there's a lot of other things kind of work out of your system when you're moving a lot, anxieties and such. But getting the body moving, healthy for everyone. But if you have ADHD, absolutely essential. If you have a job where you sit all day and you don't do any physical activity, it will be a massive issue. Not a massive issue, but you could still benefit so much from, half an hour of bike ride every day, or dancing or swimming or something. Just, you got to move the body. Your brain, you'll feel way more balanced, and you'll focus way better. So exercise. That's probably the best thing in the world for ADHD is exercise. It just is. That's what the science says. It just is. It's one of the top best things in the world for ADHD. Okay, so another one is low screen time, low entertainment, low screens. So again, addictive personality. People with ADHD love TikTok, right? Because it's dopamine. Dopamine hits. Not everyone loves YouTube Shorts and TikTok, right? And gets addicted to them. Instagram Reels, doom scrolling. You ever you're busy doing something, and then you pick up your your phone and you go doom scrolling, and then 2 hours later you're like, I lost 2 hours of my life and I feel like shit. Yeah, so it's 3-4 times more addictive if you have ADHD, because you're low in naturally, your baseline in dopamine is naturally low. And then, of course, Reels, Shorts will give you dopamine instantly. And it just kind of, it's not the best, not the healthiest thing in the world. So closely monitoring your screen time, your entertainment time, and having less will be amazing for ADHD. It's a game changer. It's very, very important. You got to monitor it, you got to watch it closely, and you got to lower it. And I know it's hard and it sucks, but you got to watch that. You got to watch it and work on it for sure. Yeah, so like and subscribe. And if you got any value out of this, like and subscribe, and there will be more on ADHD coming around the corner at some point. Hopefully. I would love to do more on ADHD. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you. You're awesome. And have a nice day. Have a wonderful day. And peace. Bye. Until next time.